Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha says, since I reached the age of discretion, I have found my parents devout Muslims, and not a single day passed but Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam visited us at its both ends, the morning and the evening. When the Muslims were subjected to too much afflictions, Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu intended to migrate to Ethiopia. When he reached Barakul Ghimad, Ibn Daghina, the chief of Qara, met him and said, O Abu Bakr, where do you intend to go? He replied, my people have expelled me, so I wish to worship my Lord visiting different places. Ibn Daghina said, O Abu Bakr, a man like you can neither go out nor can he be expelled, for you help the poor, reinforce the bonds of relation, share the burden of the helpless, entertain the guests, and extend help when a calamity befalls. So I offer you the protection. You may return and worship your Lord in your own city. So he came back accompanied by Ibn Daghina. Then Ibn Daghina went to all chiefs of the Quraysh in the evening and said to them, a man like Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu can neither go out nor can he be expelled. Do you want to exile a person who helps the poor, reinforces the ties, feeds the destitute, entertains the guests, and extends help to the people who face problems for a right cause? The Quraysh did not oppose the protection given by Ibn Daghina, but said to him, ask Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu to worship his Lord inside his house. He should perform prayer and recite whatsoever he pleases inside the house, but must not tease us by reciting them aloud. If he recites aloud, we fear lest our women and children should be afflicted by this mischief. So Ibn Daghina conveyed it to Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. So Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu followed the instructions and kept on worship inside the house without reciting aloud in the prayer and outside his house. Then Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu conceived a thought and established a mosque in front of his house wherein he would perform the prayer and recite the Quran. So the women and the children of the polytheists would gather around him and watch him amazingly. And Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu would weep excessively and could not control his tears while reciting the Quran. The chiefs of the Quraysh, struck by apprehension, and they sent for Ibn Daghina. When he came there, they said, as you gave Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu shelter, we give shelter to him, provided he would worship his Lord inside his house. But he, transgressing the condition, has established a mosque in front of his house, wherein he publicly performs the prayer and recites the Quran, due to which we fear lest our women and children should undergo a trial. So prevent him from doing so. If he can confine the worship of his Lord only to his house, it's okay. But if refuses and wants to do so publicly, ask him to return you your pledge of shelter. For we neither want to disgrace you by revoking your surety, nor do we tolerate that Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu do so openly. Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha says, so Ibn Daghina instantly came to Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and said, you know well on what condition I made a pact with the Quraysh. So if it is possible, you should abide by the condition, or return me my surety. For I don't like that the people of Arabia may hear that I have been disgraced on account of a contract I made on behalf of a person. Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, I return you your pledge of shelter and is pleased with the guarantee of protection extended by Allah Jalla Jalaluhu and his apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam. At that time, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was still in Makkah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the Muslims, I have been shown in vision the place of your Hajira, where there are date palms and is situated between two mountains. Thereafter, whoso migrated to Medina Munawwara, and most of the people who migrated to Ethiopia also reached Medina Tayyaba. Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu also did preparation for migrating to Medina Munawwara. So Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, you should wait, for I also expect to be permitted to migrate. Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu submitted, may my father and mother be sacrificed for you. Do you expect to migrate? He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, yes. So Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu also stayed back to accompany Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam and kept on feeding his two she camels on the leaves of acacia tree for 4 months. Ibn Shihab Urwa reports from Hazrat Aisha radiyallahu anha, one day while we were sitting in Abu Bakr's house at noon, someone said to Abu Bakr, "This is Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam coming with his face covered." So he sallallahu alaihi wasallam did never come to our house at this unusual time. Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu said, "May my parents be sacrificed for him. By Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, there is some urgent matter, as he sallallahu alaihi wasallam is coming at this unusual hour." She says Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam came and asked the permission to enter, so he was permitted to enter. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam entered and said to Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, "Ask all around you to leave you alone." Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu said, "O Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may my parents be sacrificed for you. They are none but the members of your own family." He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "I have been permitted to migrate." Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu submitted, "O Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may my parents be sacrificed for you. Am I allowed to accompany?" Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Yes." Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu submitted, "O Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you may take one of the she camels." Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "I will pay its price." Hazrat Aisha radiyallahu anha says, "We prepared for them whatever we could do in hurry and put some journey victuals in a leather bag, and Asma, Abu Bakr's daughter, cut her drawstring in 2 pieces and tied the mouth of the bag with it. That's why she was called the possessor of 2 drawstrings." He says, "Then Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu entered a cave of Mount Thor and remained there hidden for 3 days. Abdullah bin Abu Bakr was then a smart and sagacious youth. He would stay with them both during the night, and early in the morning he would be with the Quraysh in Makkah Mukarramah, as if he had spent the night there in Makkah. So whatever the riz hedged by the Quraysh against them, he would hear. He used to notify them when the darkness would prevail." Hazrat Abu Bakr's freed slave Amir bin Fuhaira would also graze the flock of the goats nearby, and after the nightfall he would bring the goats close to them, and they both took the milk and passed the night peacefully. In this way, Amir bin Fuhaira would then drive the herd away when it was still dark, and he did the same during each of the 3 nights. Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu engaged a man from the tribe of Bani Dil, from the clan of Bani Abd bin Adi, as a guide. An expert in guiding the way is called Khirit. He was an ally of Bani As bin Wail Sahmi, and on the religion of the pagans of the Quraysh. They trusted him and entrusted him their mounts, and took his promise to bring the mounts to the cave of Sor in 3 days. In the morning of the 3rd night, Amir bin Fuhaira and the guide took them along the seashore. Sahih Bukhari Hadith number 3905.